Well, hello everyone. This is Carrie back with How to Homeschool My Child. I just got to my daughter's house in time to do this. Yes, I'm running a little bit late. I was trying to gather, when you know this video ends up needing props. So I was trying to gather everything and then find a place. So anyway, take a deep breath, and I am ready. I can't wait to share some of the ideas that I have for you. So let me just start. We're just going to dive in. If you have questions or if you have ideas about how you can encourage a love of learning with your kids during the month of March, please leave them in the comment section. If you are just joining us, tell us where you're from and tell us whether you've got spring break planned. Are y'all going to do anything during March? All right. On March 14th, 3-1 4 is Pi Day. So what could you do? We've been giving out lots of fun activities. You could make a pie and then figure out the circumference and actually use 3.14 in your math. Another thing you might do is if you have children that don't like to do math, you might read some of these books. Circumference and the First Round Table. Obviously, to get the circumference of a table, you have to know what pi is. There's Circumference and the Dragon of Pi, for those of you that aren't familiar. The knight is Circumference. He is married to, let me just show you these. They're so cute. Oh, wait, go back. He's married to Lady Di of Amateur, and they have a son, Radius. Anyway, the whole story talks about how they can't hear each other on this long table, so they have to come up with trying to get in the light. There we go. See if I can stay there. They have to come up with a way to actually be able to hear each other, and they come up with the first round table. Fun way to do it. So you could do some things like that. I have the links in the description, and you can go grab a copy. Go ahead and order it now, and you'll have it for next Monday. That is next Monday. Next week, we also have St. Patrick's Day. So what do I have? Oh, you've probably seen me. I will be making a video of this week, but this is a fun activity. It's called our Lucky Charms. Let me go this way over in front of there. It's called our Lucky Charms graph, and these are the different marshmallows that they have here. And what you will do is you will go buy some Lucky Charms and give each child a cup of cereal, and then they have to pick out the marshmallows, and the boxes are big enough that they can line it up and make a bar graph. And then they could color them, whatever color the marshmallow is. They could even make a line graph that goes like this, and there's all sorts of things. You can, the printable that I will put, I forgot to put the link, the printable also has a question sheet, so you can ask, how many more hearts do you have than stars, or something to that effect. And so the Lucky Charms graph is just a fun way for St. Patrick's Day, a fun activity to do anytime in elementary school. And you can do all sorts of things. So all you need is a box of Lucky Charms and the graph. I will leave a link to the Lucky Charms graph when I'm finished. I forgot to put that there. All right, the next thing is we have got spring starts on March 20th. So one of my very favorite activities, I'm trying to get in the light, but it sort of moves around. One of my favorite activities is the bean plant experiment. And so what you will do is, I just went and bought a bag. Let's go this way. There we go. A bag of beans. I like these little fold top Ziplocs. But what you're going to do, see if I can get in the light. There we go. You're going to put a paper towel in here, and then you're going to put a staple for 4 beans, and then you put the bean on top of the stapler, and then you put it on the window, and you water it. And whenever it dries out, your child waters it as well. And then the cool thing about it is your kids, if you put it in a Dixie cup, all they're seeing is the stem and the leaves grow. When you put it in here, they actually get to see the roots growing down. Every day that you're doing this experiment, and so you'll have your beans in the bag, and your kids will watch the bean plant grow this way and the roots grow down. And every day I would get their nature journal, or you can just get some paper, and they can draw what their bean plant is looking like. So that's a fun thing. And there's lots of things you can learn about plants. I actually have a bunch of books, but I did not grab them. I'm sorry, this thing keeps getting dark. There we go. Last science experiment is the celery experiment. This is another one I'm going to do with my granddaughters. So buy a thing of celery that has some good leaves on it. because what you're going to do, oh, there we go. What you're going to do is you're going to take a stem off of here. See if I can get in the light. Take a stem off, put it in water, pick out a food coloring, put it in there, and let it sit. And over time, the leaves will turn the color of your food coloring. So that's sort of cool as well. And then you can look at the bottom of them and see, like, you can see the vacuoles. There's lots of things that you can learn about this as well. There is a book that I don't see it here, so it's still packed in a bag. It's called Science Activities with Plants, and it's an Usborne book, and I will put a link to that. And it has some of these very simple science plant experiments that you could do for the beginning of spring. So we have Pi Day books and experiments and activities. We have St. Patrick's Day Lucky Charm scrap. We have Grow Your Beans in a Plastic Bag. We've got celery and how plants need to soak up water and nutrition, and it comes up through the stem as well. Those are the main ones that I have right now. If you have any other suggestions of ways that are fun activities, leave them here. Or if you just want to tell us if you're going to take a spring break, or if I'm going to do some other stuff on gardening later. But I just wanted to share some of these ideas to encourage a love of learning. The other thing I am going to do a little live coaching. So if you have any questions, one of the reasons I'm always talking about love of learning is if you want to raise your kids to be leaders, they need to be lifetime learners. If you want them to learn for life, they need to love learning. So we share lots of fun activities so that they can actually love learning. If you would like to know more about Raising Leaders, today is the last day that you can actually enroll in our course, Raising Leaders, Not Followers. I had a few questions come up, and so I wanted to answer them before I get off this video. If you have questions, comments about these love of learning activities, leave them in the comment section. Or if you have a question about Raising Leaders, sorry, I got Post-its everywhere. I'm trying to stay in the light so it's not quite so dark, and I'm doing a pretty good job this time. Okay, is there a deadline to get the course? I'm going to have to figure out how to budget for all this great information and help. What a great question. There is a lot of great stuff, and if you haven't looked at it, you can go to the link in the description, howtohomeschoolmychild.com/leaders. 6 modules, 3 weeks of implementation, every week I get on live and we do live coaching and answer your questions. But yes, there is a deadline. Today is the deadline. 8 o'clock Eastern time is when you have to sign up. And why do I not just leave it open all the time? Right now, I already have a group going. They finish in 2 weeks, I think. And then I'm going to have another group. I don't need people popping in and out. Normally, I wouldn't even have 2 groups at the same time. But since we had the Leadership Summit, I knew a lot of y'all were interested in leadership materials, so I wanted to open it up to you. When I go live every week, I don't need to be reteaching and re-talking about things that we talked about at the beginning in the foundation module. And so that's one reason I leave it open, and whoever joins at that time, they get my undivided attention, full on attention. I can help them. And so we will go through, it's 9 weeks, 6 modules, 3 weeks interspersed with implementation. So that's sort of why there is a deadline. What level is Raising Leaders, Not Followers for? First of all, it is not a curriculum. You're not going to get a math curriculum or writing curriculum. It is how to teach and integrate leadership education in what you're already doing, leaving a foundation of godly character, lifetime learners that have the tools of learning and a love of learning, critical thinking skills, and wise decision making based on the Bible. And then for mom, how do you mentor your children through all of this? How do you model? That's really a good homeschool. That's a good parent, is by modeling the things that modeling our love for Jesus, modeling our love for learning, modeling our love for reading. That's another thing. Right now you can be reading books about the outdoors, about the springtime, that kind of thing. I actually grabbed Sarah Plain and Tall. I wanted to read it because I want to give it to my 7-year-old granddaughter to borrow and let her read, because that's a lot of outsideness, and springtime's a great outsideness. So the levels are, we are going to begin to show you what you should be doing with preschoolers and kindergartners. That starts with a foundation of godly character, and then we start a love of learning, and part of that's a love of reading. I can tell you right now, my granddaughters would sit with me for an hour if I would sit and read out loud. They love reading, so it's never too early to instill a love of reading. Anyway, we're going to start with the character at the younger age, add love of learning. Then we'll start giving them tools of learning. And then in their teenage years, we're going to give them independence so that they can think for themselves. They are liberated from their teacher. They are freed from their teacher. And they can go out as a young adult who can make wise decisions based on the Bible, critical and biblical thinking as well. How does the course work? Is it a certain day or time each day? Is it self-directed? I've bought programs before and not found them time to utilize them. That is a fantastic question because I don't want you to buy it if you're not going to use it. I mean, that is not, I am not here to try to sell you some. I am here because it took me years to figure this out on my own. And so now I'm trying to provide a tool for you to sort of jumpstart you and get you off that conveyor belt of education, off the do the same thing as everyone else, and truly really the tools of learning that we teach, and we just did this like 2 weeks ago in my current group. They are tools of learning that have been used for centuries. They aren't subject areas like reading, writing, math, and all that stuff. They are the tools of learning so that your children can learn anything at any time. And that's what I want to do, is be able to give you the tools of learning because you may not have gotten them, and then encourage you and help you walk along the way to be able to provide this for your kids. So here's how it works. Every Monday, starting today, if you join, today is Module 1. And so Module 1 will be in your members area, and you have a week, and you work through that. Every module has 3 to 5 videos, and it has some PDF printables with extra helps and some exercises and that kind of thing. And so every Monday that comes on. So next week on Monday, you'll get Module 2. And then the next week you'll get implementation week 3. So that's either a catch-up week or that's put it into practice. Let's implement what you're learning. Then we go 4. Anyway, keep going all the way to 6. We have a graduation at the end. Okay, then the last thing that we do, not last thing, every week on Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern time, I do live coaching. So I will get on and I would have a prepared words of encouragement that's very short, 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. And then I will answer any questions that either you submit to me ahead of time or questions that you do right here. And we have a special little group just for students that we will answer those questions. I am doing it because I want you to use the material. I do not want it sitting on your hard drive just as wasted money. All right? So that is a really good question. How do you get the course Raising Leaders? You go to howtohomeschoolmychild.com/leaders. Now, there's a lot of information on there. You've got, besides the course, you have bonuses. We have an expert in scheduling, and actually scheduling into what you already do, like eating. I thought, wow, that's so cool. Amber Smith is going to be doing that in April. We have another expert, Meredith Curtis. She's going to talk about raising kids who love to read. And so she will get on and she will help you. Then we have like Help for the Harried Homeschooler. Those are printables for you to use to stay organized, and sample schedules and stuff like that. We have several things. Today, if you join today, you will get our Start Thinking Language Bundle. It is, I think, 8 classic books. They're digital, that you just get for free. You don't even have to wait for Amazon to ship them to you. You can just download them and you could start reading them. And one of them is a Charles Dickens book. There is a George Washington book. These are books that have endured over time. And so you can, I think Tell of Two Cities is in there. There's like younger kids and older kids all in this language. You also get an entire book of copywork and dictation, old time copywork and dictation. Let's see if there was any other questions about the course. I've already answered the ages question. How do you know if I'm right for the program? One, I would go read the letter that I put on there, howtohomeschoolmychild.com/leaders. I would say these few things. If you're a Christian mom or Christian homeschooler who wants their kids to glorify Jesus and influence others to follow God, this will give you the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 steps. If you're stressed out and overwhelmed, especially on the conveyor belt, when we keep comparing ourselves to the public school, we get stressed out. Well, if we compare ourselves to social media, I would get stressed out too. So this is a course that will help you get off that conveyor belt, off the checklist mentality. I'm not against checklists. I live by checklists. I'm saying the person who feels their security in saying, okay, I did all these things. My child's 7. They must know everything they need to know. No, we're going to give you the freedom to be able to have fun with your kids and learn and give them tools of learning and let them study in areas that they are interested in as well. So we will give you a Education's proven for centuries. Another thing, if you're not sure you're doing enough, another thing, raising leaders, it gives you purpose and intention. And then you can look at all the books and all the curriculum you have, and you can say, these are helping me raise my kids to be leaders with intention from a biblical standpoint. All this other stuff is not helping me. I can get rid of that. Wow, that would free me up some as well. And if your kids are always on screens or they've got a little bit of an attitude adjustment, that is exactly where we start. We actually start with you, Mom, and your character and your love of learning and your critical thinking. That's all module 1, week 1. But for kids, we start with character foundation, whether they're 3 or 13. That if they don't have a good work ethic, if they don't have perseverance, if they don't have truth telling, things like that, if they don't have that, that's where we need to start, because a godly leader has godly character in their heart, and they will do the right thing when they are making hard decisions, when they are solving problems. And so we always start with godly character. That's the place that we want to get started with. All right, let me see if there's anything else that maybe we forgot. Oh, last thing, what's the refund policy if I'm not satisfied? That's a good question. Now, I don't need tire kickers. I want people that are serious, and I know you homeschool moms are serious about giving your kids the best education. And so, if you will, here's what, I'm just going to read parts of this because I will mix it all up. But if you're committed to where each of your kids are, wherever that is in raising leaders, not followers, and you give it your best shot. In other words, you work through the foundations for mom, Module 1, and for your children in Module 2. You go through the course and you give it a try and you show us that you've worked through the exercise and you're like, this is not a good fit. Then I hope that you will contact me and say, hey, I tried it out. It's not for me. I will refund your money. I don't want you to have anything. But you do have to at least give it a shot. Okay? It's not something that you just go, I don't want any more. So those are some questions. If we have any other questions, let me know, and I will answer those as well. And if not, the links are right here in the description. If y'all have any ideas on love of learning activities, pop them in the comments. I love seeing people coming and going. Thank you so much. If you're watching the replay, leave your questions. I'll be here. Tag me if you think about it, because it makes it easier for me to see that you responded. Anyway, y'all have a great day. I'm Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child.